We want to create this scene in restaurant playlist and render it. Hello, this is the last part of the modeling our restaurant and we are going to finish it. We will model this scene in this video and put the objects we have created in last videos of this playlist on the scene. So stay with us and watch it. Welcome to the Atria Graphics channel. In this channel we are going to teach you how to work with a series of softwares. You can press the subscribe button for supporting us and press the bell to get a notification when we upload a video. Thank you for watching this video. Now we are going to create the scene for the final render. So we add a plane, we move the cursor to the world origin with Shift S and we will add a plane S10 for scaling it 10 times along the X and Y axis. And we will go to the edit mode with tab and 2 for getting to edge select mode, and we will select these edges and with easy we will extrude them along the Z-axis. And with 3 we go to the face select mode and we will select these 3 faces, and with Alt E and extrude faces along the normals, we will extrude faces along the normals. But you can see here this is not even here and here, and it has a kind of rotation in this part. So after we click Alt E and extrude faces along normals, we hit S and you can see they are now even. Okay, this is good, and we can add some details to the walls. So we press Ctrl R and increase the number of loop cuts with mouse wheel and left click and right click, and we use SZ for moving them, and we will delete these extra edges, we don't need them. So we go to 2 with 2 edge select mode, we will select these extra edges with Shift left click, and with Ctrl X we can disallow these extra edges. Okay, and in face select mode we can select this face and EX a little, okay. Now we are going to add our objects to the scene. But before that we can make 2 windows here for the scene. So we will move the cursor with Shift right click to this wall and we will add a cube. We scale it, SZ, I think this is good. We go to the top view with 7 on numpad and hold Z for going to wireframe mode and SY for making this cube a little thinner. And okay, you can see it's have a good place, and we use Shift D and X for duplicating the object and moving it along the X-axis. And we will duplicate them, we will duplicate both of them and with Shift D and Y, and these are going to be our frames for our windows. But we have to add 2 holes in the scene. So we will select these 2 and this one, and we can come here and in the edit bool tool we have add this add-on in the last videos and we use difference. Okay, now you can see this is 2 holes for our scene. So we select one of these and hit a slash on numpad for going to local view of the object, and 7 on numpad, tab for going to edit mode, and in wireframe mode we will select these faces, all of the faces but this face, and X for deleting those faces. Okay, now in edit mode I want to make this face a frame, and I will duplicate it with Shift D and Y. This is going to become our second frame, and this is going to be lights for our windows. So we can hide these two and make a biggest frame in this part. SY, SX for moving these two edges along the X-axis, and Ctrl R again. We will add 2 edges, and SZ, and we can add 2 new loop cuts here, and SX. Okay, this is going to be our frame. So we hit 3 for face select mode, and we will select these 2 faces and X, delete those. Okay, and we keep it, and with Alt H we will go to other faces, and we select these 2, and H for making our second frame. So for this frame we can add 4 loop cuts, and we select these 2, SX. We can use numbers. 7.1 is good. So we will select these 2 edges and press SX, and we will type 7.1, and this is going to be our second frame. Ctrl R again, we again add 4 loop cuts, and we select this one with Alt left click and select this one, and SZ 0.1, and these 2 SZ 0.1, and we will delete these extra edges here with X and faces, and this is going to be our second frame. Now we go back to edit mode, Alt H, and wireframe mode. We select these 2, 7 on numpad for going to the top view, and okay, this is our light, so we don't need to change it. So we select these 2, and E, Y for extruding it along the Y axis. Okay, and now we can move them with GY again, and this is going to be our windows. So we get back to solid view and a slash on numpad. We can move this, Ctrl 3 wireframe mode, GY. This is good, and we don't need this one. We delete it and duplicate. Now we want to add some details to the scene. So first of all, we can add a niche here. We move the cursor with Shift right click and add a cube, SY, and maybe SC. Okay, SY, it's a little too big, and GX, I think this is good, and we move it along the z-axis a little, and sx, gx. Okay, and now we can here add some details here, like a blackboard in gz sx. Okay, we can increase the size, sz, increasing the size along the x-axis, z-axis, and it's kind of like a book. We can increase the size again and a little more, sx. Maybe we can go to edit mode, 3 for face select mode, and I for this. And this is kind of blackboard, so we can use ex, and this is enough. Maybe I can add a bevel modifier to it, and we increase the segments. I think this is good. Or we can decrease the offset, and we will use ry, gy, gx, and sy. Okay, it's good. And here we can add a flower pot with cylinder, gz, and it's on the ground, 3 on numpad. We're going to the side view, and we can make it smaller, sz, and gz, and tab for going to the edit mode, and we select this face, and I, and easy. Okay, again we add a bevel modifier here. We can copy this bevel modifier, this object modifiers to this object with Ctrl L. So first of all, we select this object, and after that this one, we first select this object, the target object, and main object after it, and we press Ctrl L, and here you can kind of make a link between these two objects for object data, materials, animation data, collections, and we will use modifiers. Okay, and maybe we can use shade smooth, and this is our flower pot, gy, gx. Now we are going to make a flower pot, another flower pot here, and we can, okay, Shift A, we will add a cube, gz, we can go to the side view in wireframe mode. Okay, we can scale it along the z-axis and along the y-axis, gy and gz, okay, and sx. This is nice, and we can go to the solid view, sx, gx, and we can a little sz. Sorry, I had to turn on the screencast, and we can use some bevel modifier. We can copy this one's bevel modifier with Ctrl L and choose the modifier, but sorry, we had to select this mode in edit mode and use some I don't know why this is happening, so these are not even, so I select these two edge and SX, this is okay, 3 for face select mode and easy. Okay, and we will copy the same bevel. Oh, I have deleted the bevel modifier here, sorry. I select this first and shift left click, I select that first, second, and I will copy the modifier. So, and again we do that, wireframe mode, maybe I can increase the offset here and add some segments. Okay, this is good for flower pot, and GZ for this face. And now we can add a photo in the scene, maybe here. So select these three, GZ and GY. Okay, shift right click here for adding a photo. We will add a plane RY 90 degrees, and we can scale it with S and SZ for creating a photo, and 7 on numpad, going to edit mode and EX, and this is going to be a photo, an image in the scene. So okay, now we will add some these objects to the scene, but I think this one I can delete this object because 3 is enough for this table. And here is the tip for you. If you want to unparent this object to this one, you can see if we move this will follow this object because this is the child and this is the parent. So if we want to clear the parent, we can use Alt P, and we have 3 objects here, 3 options here. If we hit first one, just clear the parent, you can see it's gone because it's returning to the first place of the object. So we can use Alt P and clear and keep transformation. So it's not anymore parented to this object, but it has the transformation we have used before the unparenting. So we hit X and delete, we will delete that, and now we can add the objects to the scene. Okay, first of all we are going to add the plane into the flavor pots. So I select this one, and this one we will going to move the origin point of the seam to the end of it. So we go to the edit mode, maybe we can move it. Oh, these will follow. So we select in edit mode, when you move the object, because this origin point isn't moving, so the object will stay in that place. It's not matter you have parented it to this object, because in the edit mode the origin point doesn't follow the object, and these are parented to the origin point will not follow this one. So for moving the origin point in the middle of the object, at first we can select the object and set origin to center of mass. And if we select them all, going to edit mode and GZ, no. Okay, we can kind of, we come here, edit mode, we select this face and Shift S, cursor to selected, and it's going to right there. So we use here Alt D and Shift, and we select the seam and Shift S, selected to selection to cursor, and it's right there. We can scale it, GZ, and scale it again, move the seam to center and GZ again, and we can rotate it with RZ along the Z axis. So okay, this is good, but again RZ, okay, that's okay. And now we hit this one, Shift S, cursor to selected, and we will use, we don't need to duplicate it, we can just use Shift S and selection to cursor, and here you can see it. We will use some S for scaling it, and RZ, this is nice, and V, it's in the middle, we use GY, GX, and S, it's good, and RZ, we can rotate it in how much we want. We rotate it along the Z axis, and we can duplicate it 4 times, and with rotation it's look like we have 4 different flowers, sorry. Alt D and X for moving it along the X axis, and RZ, okay, GX, RZ again, and Alt D, X for moving it along the X axis. We can use S for making it little different, and RY and RZ, okay, GX and Alt D, X again, and we can scale it, RZ, and now it's look like a different kind of object. So that's enough for our flowers, and now we can add these objects to the scene and make the final part of the modeling. So we move cursor to the origin point of the scene with Shift S and cursor to selected, and we select this one, Shift S, selection to cursor, but it's better to move this at first. So Shift S, selection to cursor, and GZ with mono numpad, wireframe mode, it's now on the, we can move this a little bit in the ground, but, and use G, Shift, Z. Now we can move it along the X and Y axis with, when we use Shift Z. G, Shift Z, it means it's moving along every axis but Z axis. So we can rotate it along the Z axis, and I think it's good place, but we can move the chairs, G, Shift Z here, and it's good, G, Shift Z for this one, and it's in the right place. GY. Okay, it's good. Now we can move this one to the scene. Shift S, selection to cursor, 1 on numpad. For going to the side view, we hold Z. Screencast is not good add-on for the Blender because it's turning off when I close the program. So Z for going back to solid view, we can scale it. 3 on numpad for looking at this from the side view. I think this is good for the scale. And you can see if we move the parent, the child with, if we scale the parent or move the parent, the child will follow the parent. If we rotate it, you can see the child will follow the parent object. So we will put this table here and it's good place. And now we can, let's see if we add some rotation. It's kind of better. GX and we will move this one like them, selection to cursor and 3 on numpad, wireframe mode, GZ and GX and GY. Okay, this is going to be our scene and we can, this is better. Now we can add some two lamps to our scene for adding some detail. So we move the cursor with shift right click. Let me turn on the screencast. We will add a circle, scale it, tab for going to edit mode, and slash for going to local view. We hit 1 for vertex select mode, easy, and we select this one, S, shift Z for scaling it along the X and Y axis. We will select this one, easy, and S, and we will give it a little E, shift Z, sorry, E and S, and E again, Z for extruding it along the Z axis. We will scale this part and hit E, right click and S and F for filling that. We select this one, hit Ctrl B for adding some bevel to it, and this one too, Ctrl B, and I think it's good. We can select this face with 3, we go to edge select, face select mode, GZ, and we can add a solidify modifier for adding some thickness to our lamp, and a subdivision surface modifier, shade smooth, and maybe before adding these modifiers here, we can select this one and scale it, this one and scale it. Okay, it's better. Now for the top of the lamp, we can select this face, shift S, cursor to selected, and we will add a single vert, and with 1 we go to vertex select mode, easy, easy, and easy. We subdivide it 3 times, and after that we can convert it to a curve, and we will add some offset, some dip to the kind of wire for the lamp, and we can still add some bevel here for the lamp, and it's okay. We turn on the modifiers for lamp, and we will parent it to the lamp. So we can move the cursor here, move these two with Shift S, selection to cursor, we hit G, we put it here and scale it, and we will play with it. We can first hide it, and when we are setting the camera, we will place it in good place. In the next video, we are going to find out what is the unwrapping in Blender, and we will unwrap some of the objects in the scene. If you like this video, press the subscribe button and press the bell to get a notification when we upload a video, and leave a comment if you have any questions. Goodbye and have a great day.